Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I have a bit of a different video for you. I am going to be explaining all of my paranormal experiences, what led to me wanting to do ghost hunting, and all my inspirations and just stuff like that. So to start off, my family, like before I was born, like since my dad was a kid, my nana was a kid, they have all had encounters with the paranormal, to like seeing things getting moved around in their house. Like my dad and my nana used to live in this old farmhouse. They had some crazy stuff going on in there. But me personally, just ever since I was a little kid, I can always remember I would see these shadows. I would always see people that no one else saw. I would hear voices. And, you know, it's just like, you think you're crazy, but... And then as I got a little older, probably not like old, but like around 3 or 4-ish, I would wake up screaming at the top of my lungs, and then my dad, my mom, my nana, someone would come in and ask, like, "Are you okay?" And then I would tell them that there was a big man in my room with dark eyes watching me. And that happened so many times, like reoccurring nights throughout years. That happened. So they kind of got the idea, okay, he's seeing stuff. This has happened in our family a lot. So you just gotta tell them, like, just tell them to go away. That's what I always got told. Say, go away. A lot of the times that wouldn't work though. So as I got older, it was normal for my family to know that I would see stuff. I would hear things. As I got older, I got used to it. I understood that they were spirits. I swear I'm not schizophrenic or anything. Because I would like see things and they would make sense, line up to people. But I remember a few experiences that really scared me. Like I'm still seeing that tall man with the dark eyes every night, but like I'm not as scared of him anymore because I know it's not real. Well, it is real, but like he can't hurt me. And there was this one time I went to go brush my teeth. I'd say it's probably around 7 or 8. I went so first I need to explain like the layout of the bathroom. So right where I would brush my teeth, the sink, there was a mirror, and right behind was a door that led into my parents' room, and it was open. So I could see into my parents' room while I was brushing my teeth in the mirror. So I'm brushing my teeth, and behind me, the clearest person I have ever seen, this little child with pale skin, almost like a greenish kind of pale, short hair, a plaid shirt, pulled up high jeans, and I could just tell that it was not a kid. But the one thing that told me that the most, it had pure black eyes. Like, just pure black. And I'd never seen anything like that before. So I freaked out, threw my toothbrush, ran into my bedroom, and that was like one of the scariest things I could remember. And I told my dad, and you know, he doesn't like hearing about that stuff. But, a crazy thing that happened a few years later, which I'll get into it when I get into my inspirations, but something crazy happened that has to do with that kid in a YouTube video. But so years continue going on, and you know, things slowly like keep progressively happening. I keep seeing people, just the normal for me. But one night I was laying down on my stomach on my bed watching YouTube, like I usually do, and my back started burning. And I go check in the mirror. There's 5 red lines on my back. And I was like, I just got scratched. Because I was old enough to where I would watch ghost shows and stuff, so I understood what all that was. And it actually scarred. It was so bad. I will put up a picture right here. But that was when I was like, okay, maybe this stuff is serious. I started understanding how serious it could get, but it only got me more intrigued into the paranormal. So I would start watching paranormal stuff. See, I was always a fan of Sam and Colby. And then they started getting into the paranormal stuff, so I would watch that too. I was like, oh, this is great. I'm learning so much more about it. But, you know, the more I got into it, the more I would experience stuff. And at the age of, I think, like 14, 15, things, like, started going super wrong. Like, I was so into the paranormal. I was making dowsing rods out of wire coat hangers. And that I had, like, scary experiences with. Like, I had something. So, when I was 7, my mom passed away. And I have had things mimic her voice before. But this thing, I was getting, like, full-on responses on the phone with one of my best friends, Matthew. And it was pretending to be my mom. Then it pretended to be, like, someone from my family. But I looked into it and it, like, didn't line up. So I was like, are you lying to me? And it crosses to yes. So then I was basically like, okay, you know, I'm not doing that anymore. That scared me. My stepmom got really mad at me for that. But, you know, things just continue happening as normal. But me and my cousin Liam, we decided to go for a walk in a forest one day. And it's winter. And so we get to this spot, probably like 30-minute walk into the woods. And I was like, okay, no, something doesn't feel right, we need to leave. And he has experienced stuff like me before too. So we're walking back. The entire time we hear a third person walking behind us. And I kid you not, I swear on my life, I swear on my mother, behind us, there's another set of footprints. But they're not there before. But as we're walking back to my house, there's another set of footprints, like, following us. And we hear someone walking behind us. And we get back to my house, I say to my stepmom, you know, I think someone followed me home. And she's like, what? And I was like, I think someone followed me home, and it does not feel good. And she just kind of brushed it off. She was like, you know, nothing's gonna come in this house. We have crystals and stuff. And I was like, no, I swear something followed me. But it just kind of got brushed off, and she said, no, nothing did. Probably to try and just keep me calm. But then, as I'm in the laundry room doing cat litter, a ball flies off a shelf into me. And I was like, you had to have seen that. Something followed me, and it's bugging me. And then she was like, someone probably just bumped into the shelf. I was like, even if you bump into the shelf, it's not gonna fly off like that. It flew across the room into me. And then she was like, okay. And she had a friend that's a medium named April. Really awesome. She told April, and then April, I still don't know the full reason, she wanted a picture of my eyes. So, we sent her a picture of my eyes, and the scar on my back too, and she wanted to come talk to me. Or, I went to go talk to her at her house. She's a very spiritual person because she's a medium. She has all these crystals and a fat cat that looks like Garfield. And so I go there. She just talks to me for a bit, teaches me some protective stuff. I just talk to her about my experiences. She tells me hers. And we have a lot of like similar experiences with the paranormal, so it was like, it was cool to talk to her. But then she's like, okay, so you think someone followed you home. So we get into the topic of like attachments and stuff. And then, so we get into it a bit more. She does this thing where she has me close my eyes, and she's like, okay, I'm not going to talk to Ethan right now because she could feel there was something with me. And she was getting me to like think in my head who else was there. There was 3 people. One, his name was Tom. He was attached to me for 7 years. But he wasn't bad. He was just lost. And April told me I'm like a lighthouse of energy, so wherever I go, the spirits, they just attract to me. So he just felt my energy and he felt safe, so he stayed with me. There's this other guy who was with me for 5 years. Same situation as Tom. I can't remember his name. It started with a W. But there's actually a cool thing about Tom. All these things that I said happened in his life kind of lined up with one of my great uncle's friends that passed away. around the time that he attached himself to me. So it could have been him, which was pretty neat. But the third thing that was on me was not good. It was not lost. And it was from the forest where I said something followed me home. And it followed me, attached itself to me. And April, she was like, okay, this isn't good. So she had me close my eyes, hold this big crystal, and speak very loudly saying, I am Ethan Towers, this is my body. And so, and I can't even explain the energy I felt while that was going on. Like, I felt this crazy rush of energy, like, flowing into me. I was shivering, and it felt like my eyes were trying to open. But apparently, nobody told me this until, like, last year. My eyes were open, and they were rolled in the back of my head. And my stepmom had a video of it, but she deleted it after I found out because she didn't want me seeing it. But my eyes were rolled in the back of my head, and she was flicking water on me, and I was like, she told me it's just normal water. Then I found out, when I found out my eyes rolled in the back of my head, it was holy water. So she was like trying to get it out of me, but it was refusing to leave no matter what. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna talk to my friend that's a shaman. I don't know too much about shamans, but my basic idea is they're like some sort of indigenous person that can do exorcisms or something like that. Like, they're very in tune spiritually. They like can deal with exorcisms, attachments, like that kind of stuff. So she's like, in 2 days I could go and take you to see him because we need to get that off of you. The first night, nothing happened. I could feel it with me. I could see it too. It was this very tall shadow, and it would stand in the corner of my room and watch me. So I knew he was there. And then the second night, the night before we go to the shaman, it knew what was gonna happen. So it was like, no, you're not getting rid of me. It was the scariest night of my life. I've never experienced anything like that. But, so it started off, my bed has this little shelf on the back, and I had a stack of Funko Pops on it. Those all fall onto me. And I'm like, okay, what the heck? My room was surrounded by shelves that had books in it that my great-grandfather gave me, like big books about boats and ships and stuff in the war. They all launch out of the shelves onto the ground. My stepmom comes into my room. She's like, what was that bang? I was like, my books just fell off the shelf. And she's like, okay, this is why we're going to see the shaman tomorrow. She goes back into her room. Everything else starts falling, like all my action figures and stuff fall off my shelves onto me. My mattress like shook a little bit for a couple seconds. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then my leg, I could feel two hands grab it. That looks sus. I could feel two hands grab my leg, and it yanked my leg out of bed. And then I did not sleep that night. That was the scariest night of my life. So we make it to the shaman the next day. In the car, I'm telling April this stuff that happened. She's like, okay. And then we get to the shaman, talk to him for a bit. He takes me into this room that has all this indigenous stuff. I'm not too sure what it all was, but it was really cool, actually. And then there's a table in the middle of the room. He gets me to lay down on it. And then he starts banging a drum, screaming, and like flicking water in my eyes, and like putting a feather over me and saging me. And I was kind of intimidated because I was like, this is shit you see in movies. And it was terrifying for me, but I also I kind of wanted to laugh because it's weird, like some guy over you smacking a drum yelling. But that happened. But again, the energy you feel when that is going on is absolutely insane, and I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like a rush through your whole body, constant, like pulsating. And then he gets me to sit in a chair, and he has a chair right in front of me, very close, looking at me. And then he's like, okay, what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna get these out of you. And I was like, okay, let's get started. So he's looking right in my eyes. He tells me how it's gonna go. Basically, I'm just gonna listen to what the people that are attached to me say, and I'm gonna repeat it back to him. Tom, the other guy, they leave really easily. They're like, sorry, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So he like, I don't even know how to explain it, but he like did this thing where he takes them out, puts them aside, and it's just like you can feel weight off of your shoulders. And then they come out really easily. They were just lost and scared, and we helped them pass on to wherever you go after life. And then we get to the man who was bad from the forest. He says that he's not gonna leave, and I can hear him. So like I'm hearing, like, have you ever seen The Conjuring 2? Where the girl, she's sitting and there's a guy behind her talking, but he's like talking through her. That's kind of how it was, but I was listening to what he was saying, then repeating it. So it was terrifying. Like, he was like, I'm not gonna leave. His exact words, his body is my home now. And all we got out of it, basically it was trying to possess me, but it wasn't strong enough. It was trying to convince us it was a demon, but I could feel it wasn't. And then we were like, we're gonna put you into the light. It was like, I'm not going to the light. So the shaman, he was like, okay, then go into the darkness where you came from. And then at that point, I'm still like freaking out. I'm like, this is movie stuff right now. And it was freaking me out. And then like that, when he's able to, after a lot of persuading, he's able to get that out of me. And that was like, I never felt so light in my life. Massive weight and flow of energy out of my body. And I can see it like this black mist, like, next to me just disappear. And I was like, I was just happy that it was over with. And then after that, I was completely cut off from anything paranormal. I couldn't like do anything. I couldn't watch anything. So I was cut off to the point where I just started losing my touch and stuff. So now I'm at the point right now in life where I can only see them occasionally, rarely ever hear them, but I feel energies a lot. I could tell if things are lying. I could feel things. I see things not as much as I used to, which upsets me, so I'm trying to get back into it. But I only did that for about a year, and then I immediately went back into paranormal stuff, and I was like, I forgot how much I love this. So again, I start watching all these paranormal things, start getting back into it for like the next year and a half. I'm watching all this stuff that I'm like, you know what? I need to start like doing investigations. Like I'm not as in tune as I used to be. So I start buying this equipment and just doing these things with my friends. And then around a year ago, I'm like, you know what? I need to start recording this. Cause, you know, I was always super big into Sam and Colby and like ghost adventures and stuff. So I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to become a ghost hunter, like, and make that a job. So that's what I'm slowly working towards. But that's like a quick summary of my stories. I have a lot more I could get into. Like about toys that got possessed, specifically a Furby and like Toy Story ones. So I can't stand Furbies anymore. You know what? I'll tell the Furby one, cause this is terrifying. I'm like 3 years old. Me and my sister, we get Furbies for Christmas, and hers is like happy, but mine's only happy for like a few minutes. But then it gets like the eyes it does when it's angry, and it doesn't like. It stays angry, and then it like slowly, throughout a few days, it like starts saying things it's not supposed to. And my dad, he like hears it. He's like, that's not right. So you just kind of brush it off, like, okay, maybe it's just a glitch, maybe it's just something weird. But like throughout the next year, I'm like 4 or 5, it starts, like, I can understand it now because I can speak better and I understand it better. It starts saying my name and saying these horrible things, like swearing, and so my dad's like, okay, no. And then he takes the batteries out. It continues going, like, it continues, like, swearing at me and saying these horrible things. So we just lock it away in a shed. And then years later, like 2 years ago, we're about to move. And I'm selling all my old stuff. We find the Furby, and my stepmom's like, oh my god, this thing's so cute. Can we put batteries in it? I always wanted to hear one of them. And me and my dad are like, no, you cannot do that. That thing is evil. And then she's like, oh, it's cute. She puts batteries in it. The first thing it does is laugh and then say, fuck you, John. And that's my dad's name. And then she's like, what the hell? We take the batteries out. She takes a picture to put it up to sell. And every time she takes a picture, it just deletes. Like, I don't know how to explain it. The picture, she'd take a picture of it and it was gone. Like, it didn't want to leave. So we just leave it outside, put it in a toy bin. Some other kid's dealing with it now, I guess. Or we threw it out. One of the two. I think we ended up throwing it out. Or it was put in a toy box. But that was, like, one of the big things in my life that happened. That was paranormal. That scared me. But back on the topic of, like, this channel. So I originally was doing prank videos when I started YouTube. And then I deleted that channel. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do ghost hunting. And I've set this goal for myself. I want to become one of the most famous ghost hunters ever. Like, Ed and Lorraine Warren level, Zach Bagans level, Sam Colby level. And I want to catch the most compelling evidence that nobody can deny. And I want to prove the paranormal to everybody. And I want to get the craziest stuff possible that I can. It's starting off small right now because I don't have, like, the money to do big stuff, so I'm just able to buy small things, do smaller investigations, but I want to do big movie quality level. And it's like, that's basically my #1 dream. So even right now, what am I at? 44 subscribers. That is still big for me because I'm like, wow, 44 people are, like, watching me do investigations. But I wanna slowly get bigger. I have so many goals. I want to become such a well-known investigator and, like, make history. Like, I want to make paranormal history on this channel. And, like, I can't really do it without you guys, so I'm so thankful for all the support I get. Even if I am still a small channel, I still appreciate it so much. But, like, I probably wouldn't have even started this channel if it weren't for Sam and Colby. Like, I don't know how to explain how much they have inspired me in my life. Like, I've been watching them since they were doing, like, abandoned videos. So, like, 7, 8 years. And, like, I've always looked up to them. They got me into abandoned places, like, exploring that. They got me to want to do YouTube and paranormal stuff. So I was like, my goal one day, another dream of mine is to do an investigation with them. Because they have, like, without them, I wouldn't be the person I am today. They have done so much for me with their videos, I have no idea. Then other inspirations I have, Balin Levine. He, like, taught me some of the most important life lessons. Also, Amanda and Mackie, friends of Sam and Colby, they do paranormal stuff too. They have also inspired me a lot with their ghost hunting. And Amanda, I connect to her too because she has experienced a lot of stuff like me. And in one of her videos, like, going back to that kid I saw, she saw this kid that wasn't a kid crawling around in Mackie's garage. And she described it as exactly as the kid with black eyes that I saw. And I was like, oh, this is the craziest thing ever. That's, like, So I was just like thinking, is that like a normal disguise that things will go in to scare people? Maybe, who knows? But you know, like my biggest inspirations, they gotta be Sam and Colby and Bailey. But I wouldn't be doing any of this if it wasn't for them. Throughout the next year, as my channel grows, I'm gonna be trying to do more stuff. Like throughout this winter and summer, I'm gonna be like investigating into like skinwalkers, wendigos, all that kind of stuff. Just because that's really cool stuff. But I want to get to the point where I could go to the Conjuring house. One goal of mine. I know Sam stayed in the basement alone for what was it, 3 hours. I want to stay in there from sunset to sunrise. No lights and just equipment. But that's really expensive to do. I don't know if anyone has heard of this. The Valley of Headless Men, I think it's called. In Canada. I live in Canada. I think it's in BC or somewhere. I want to go there. It has a crazy story. If you want to know more about that, go watch Mr. Ballin's video on it. It's insane. And I want to spend a couple nights there and investigate it, try and figure out what's really going on there. And I have all these big goals, and if you want to help me get there, like, just try sharing my channel around, watch my videos, subscribe. It will help me so much with achieving my dreams, pretty much. Like, I don't want to try and pressure people like a lot of people on YouTube do, like, pressure people to subscribe or something. But if you do genuinely enjoy what I'm doing or think I have cool ideas, like, if you subscribe, share some videos with people you also know who enjoy this, it'll help me out so much that I'll be able to do so much more when my channel grows. Like, I'm so excited. I think of it every night. Like, whenever I get big on YouTube, I don't think if, I think when. Because I need to make it happen. I'm going to. When it happens, I'm going to make the most high quality videos in the craziest locations, get the craziest evidence. But I do have big plans for this channel. I have big plans for the future. Thank you for the support I've been getting. And, I can't wait to see where this channel goes. And that was my story of paranormal stuff, my inspirations, and where I'm trying to head with this channel. Thank you for watching.